Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Kicking Aces in World of Tanks. For this battle, I am in my Tier 6 German medium tank, the VK3002M, and this is a standard battle on Pacific Island. So I'm currently working my way up the German medium line, and this is the current tank that I'm in, working my way towards the Speerpanzer. And my experiences with this tank so far are pretty good. It's a nice long range, more of a sniper, scouty kind of tank. Good mobility, but not great. Accurate gun, low alpha damage, so you don't really want to brawl with the tank. The armor on the frontal plate can give you some bounces if you're at long range, if you're angled well, but certainly not something that you should expect. So in this battle, I'm going to try and use the strengths of the tank. I have it outfitted with binoculars and a camo net. So I'm going to get into position on the southwestern flank here. I knock that tree over to provide some extra cover. There's not a great bush up here, but if the tree's down and the leaves are on it, it will provide cover just like a bush. So I'm going to sit in this tree. My camo and binoculars are activated, and I should have some nice view range down this alley and be able to provide some spotting for my allies. This alley is always a heavy zone of fighting. Usually the heavies work their way down here, and I don't want to be in the front because I don't have the tank for this battle. There are Tier 7 tanks in this battle, some T-29s and some other big guns. There's an ISU 152 on the other team that I don't want to get hit by. So we do get some spots there, and we're even able to fire the gun without getting spotted. So that's great, and we completely remove an enemy tank from the game that quick. So good start to the battle. Haven't been spotted, haven't been hit. We're going to try and continue that for the next couple minutes until this battle develops, and we'll see where we're most needed and use our mobility to shift ourselves into that position. So there was an enemy tank, a medium, up on the opposite ridge, trying to provide some scouting there. I think it was a Sherman Jumbo. Strong front plate on that, angled because of the hill. I was not able to go through, and then he backed down before we could really do any significant damage to him. So we do have some allies here. This flank is going well. A couple of tanks have poked their noses out around the corner, and they've been quickly eliminated. And there's the SU-152, and he's backing off, but I have some nice long-range shots. That one seemed to miss, and he's probably pulled back behind the mountain there, so we're going to have to wait for another opportunity to put some damage into that guy. So again, I'm being cautious here. I'm playing a little bit passively at the start of this match. I don't want to get caught in the open. I don't want to be the closest tank to the enemy, because if I get focus fired, I will disappear very quickly from the match. So I'm going to let my heavies push a little bit, provide some spotting where I can, and provide some long-range fire support where I can as well. Try and save my hit points and my health pool, which is good in this tank for a Tier 6 medium. Just shy of 1,000 hit points is pretty good, and hopefully I'll be able to use that to trade later on in the match and have a good outcome here. So there is the American Sherman Jumbo. He poked out, got caught there, got spotted. I don't think he was expecting to get spotted, and now he's kind of stuck. But my last shot bounced off his well-angled frontal plate, and he's able to save his tank for now. The SU-152 took a blind shot at me in the bush here. I am not spotted, but he took a punt at me. Thankfully he missed, because that would have hurt. And I am able to put a little bit of punishment into him in return. I did switch to a premium round, because the frontal armor of that Russian tank destroyer is pretty formidable at long range, and if it's at all angled, which he was. So the Sherman that pulled back with a sliver of health did get taken out by an ally. The scores are pretty close. It's 5-4. And looking at the minimap, I can see that we've got a good push developing on the western flank, and our eastern flank seems to be doing okay. There's definitely 3 or 4 of the enemy tanks pushing towards that E7 area, and we have a tank or 2 there, but it's not looking good. So we're going to keep an eye on that and respond to that threat as we need to. And actually, the scores are starting to tip the other way. It's 5-8, so we're down 3 tanks. So we're going to need to do some work here and do it quickly, or we could find ourselves in an unsurmountable position where we are not going to be able to pull this thing back. But there are 2 enemy artillery in play, and I want to see if we can get up here close to the enemy base and if we can remove them, that would certainly help for the later stages of this game. So I'm pushing up with an ally here. There's two allies, one in front of me, one behind. I'm going to poke this ridge again, see if we can provide any spotting to light these guys up. We still have 2 artillery in play as well, and we want to be able to get some fire on the enemies here while we have the opportunity before our base starts to get overrun. But as I'm poking here, the siren starts to go off, and I can see 3, now 4 enemies are approaching our base. But before we go, we do have an opportunity at the TOG 2 there. That yacht of a tank presented me with his broadside. That probably could have hit that one with my eyes closed, but then it did look like he was pointing his gun towards me. So I pulled back. I want to get out of there, and it looks like it's time to get back to base. We're down 7 to 11. We've lost both our artillery, and the enemy's capping. They've got 2 in the base, and in 40 seconds, this round will be over. We do have 1 heavy tank back here. It's a KV-1S. That's a Tier 5 Russian heavy tank, and he's doing some good work. He's trying to defend the cap, but he's outmatched here and outnumbered. So I'm going to poke the ridge, and there we see a Fury. He's in the cap circle. He's on a sliver of health. Fully aim that, aim above the tracks, and it flies true. I used a premium round there. Did not want to mess around with a miss. That would have alerted him to my position, and he would have been able to get into cover and kept those capture points. So we eliminate him, and now it is a 2-on-5 situation, just myself and a T-29. Now I suggest you guys watch this once from my point of view and from my commentary, and then watch again, but keep an eye on my ally in the T-29. He does some great work here while I'm busy doing what I'm doing. So thankfully, there's 3 enemy tanks across close to our cap circle, but they cannot cross the valley to get to me because of the T-29's position. So he's going to do some work on those artillery. He's already moved 1. However, there is an A-44, a Russian Tier 7 medium tank, very dangerous opponent, and he's come over here to engage me. He did get over here without taking any shots from the T-29. Thankfully, I bounced my first shot from him. My second one sets him on fire. Boy, I got really lucky there, and praise be to RNGs, as my third one damaged his ammo rack. So we're in good shape here. That tank, the A-44, has a really dangerous gun with 300 alpha damage, but it has a slow rate of fire at just about 5 rounds per minute, a little over that. And in exchange, my gun has a very low alpha damage of about 135 damage, but my rate of fire is almost triple what his is. So because I was able to bounce the first shot and then damage his ammo rack, my DPM was just far superior to his, and we were able to eliminate almost the entirety of that Tier 7 Russian medium tank. And now, thanks to my ally in the T-29, he cleaned up the rest, both artillery and the other medium who was trying to flank me, and all that's left is this Ram 2. I put a big hit into him. He's on a sliver of health, and I thought he was going to crest that ridge, but he didn't. Instead, my ally in the T-29, who had a terrific game, gets the last kill, and we are able to pull that one back and secure a victory. So we'll take a real quick look at the post-game stats, and as this is a Kicking Aces gameplay, you know it results in that coveted Ace Mastery badge that that everyone's always looking for, and that's my first one in this VK 3002M, so I was really excited about this. We did just shy of 2,000 damage, and a lot of it was to that Tier 8 tank. We blocked 450 damage, and 300 of that was also from the A-44 that we eliminated. A couple of nice medals. The Demolitionist, we actually blew up the ammo rack of that A-44 to get the final kill on him. We got a Bruiser. 3 total tanks killed, 14 penetrations. We lost money because of the couple of premium rounds we had to fire, which is unfortunate, but for a gameplay like this, it's worth it to lose a little cash to come away with such a fun and awesome result. So quick look through the efficiency. You can see the tanks that I damaged there, a lot of Tier 7s, a couple Tier 6s as well. Big shout out to the T-29 driver. He really did some great work there, and together we were able to work together and really carry the team. He secured a top gun. He had 2,600 damage to my 2,000, but again, the T-29, you're expected to, when you're top tier, to be carrying the team, and he certainly did that in this match. So I thought that was a real fun replay, my first mastery badge in this tank. Wanted to share it with you. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.